Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about the tyranny of damage, and how damage in Dungeons & Dragons really constrains our options, and how I think there's a better path that's given to us by the Dungeon Master Guide, and that really frees us from this tyranny of damage. All right, so we're at an interesting point in Dungeons & Dragons. I'm a huge Dungeons & Dragons fan, and I want to talk to you today about a problem that I see in Dungeons & Dragons. All right. So I'm incredibly blessed. I currently play in two. So my Dungeons & Dragons activity right now primarily is I play in two Dungeons & Dragons campaigns. Okay, with one with a post-college age female dungeon master, and a middle-aged male dungeon master, and so I just got out of the middle-aged Dungeon Master's game, and I am playing a GIF. I'm specifically playing a GIF rogue, okay? And so this GIF with a mercenary veteran background, all right? And this GIF rogue, so I'm incredibly blessed to be, playing with a bunch of talented players and a talented Dungeon Master. And so basically, it comes to initiative, right? And so I have to write down, I'm getting prepared for my turn, right? So everybody else is taking their turn, and I'm getting prepared for my turn, right? And so, one, I have an incredibly robust collection of dice. And so I use dice to physically, I use dice and a notebook to get ready for my turn. So what I do is I put up a D20, right? And I'm going to be able to use, I'm going to be able to use my, my sneak attack, right? So I put up my my D20. I'm currently under a curse that gives me a -1. So I put a die up right next to the D20 that's red, and it says -1, right? Because it's gonna be a -1 off of whatever I roll. And then I have a dagger of returning, and at 8th level, I'm gonna do 1d4 plus 5 damage, and then I'm gonna get 4d6 sneak attack damage. But I'm also using the Phantom subclass, right? So I'm gonna get Astral Spark, and which is gonna do +3 force damage, and in addition to that, I'm going to do Whale of Graves, which is gonna do 2d6 to another target within 30 feet if I'm successful, right? So I'm looking at 1d4 plus 5, 4d6, another 2d6, a +3, right? And so I'm looking at doing 20 to 35 damage depending on how things shake out, right? That's a significant amount of damage, right? But in addition to that, we have this material which is specific to our world, and this material is very special, okay? And this material is a magic. It's crystallized chaos magic, right? And my character has access to this. So what I want to do, and what I chose to do, right, was I chose to use this crystallized chaos magic, essentially, which I thought was was a hard crystal, right? And so what I did was I told the Dungeon Master, I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this crystallized chaos magic in my mouth. I'm going to spit it at the target, right, which was a displacer beast, and I'm going to try to strike it with and I'm at melee range at this point. I'm 5 feet away from the creature, right, and I'm going to strike the magic crystal with my dagger, right. So what ends up happening is I'm able to affect the creature with the crystallized dust. I spit it out of my mouth, and I'm going to strike it, right? But I'm not able to strike the creature, right? The magic dust makes it so that the displacer beast, I get an effect that the displacer beast is not able to be able to displace themselves for 3 rounds. So that's good, right? And I did strike the displacer beast, right? But I did strike the displacer beast, but I just do my 1d4 plus 5 damage, right? So I've been able to stop the Displacer Beast from displacing for 3 rounds, right? But in addition to that, I only do 1d4 damage, and the reason why was I used my bonus action to spit this out of my mouth, right? Now, if I had been able to use my bonus action, I could have put myself in a position where I would have got my sneak attack, and then I would have done 20 to 35 points of damage, okay? So what's frustrating is I actually was able to effectively use the I was able to successfully use the crystallized chaos magic, this component, this element, right, to affect the Displacer Beast, and then I successfully hit. But because I'm not getting my sneak attack damage, I only do 6 points of damage, and I get a minor effect, right? Now, what frustrates me is I did something exciting and new and innovative, right? But the game tells me, get back to work, do your damage, right? Because you had a chance that you could have killed it, and everybody else at the table is doing what they can to maximize the damage, right? Get back in line and do your standard rogue action, right? And this is a problem. This is a real problem. I think Dungeons & Dragons currently is structured with this tyranny of damage, right? Essentially, every non-player character you come across, every monster you come across, every beast you come across is a sack of hit points, right? And Sean Merwin decided this, and he's like, just beat the sack, beat the sack, beat the sack, beat the sack, right? And I get where he's coming from. It's this problem, right? And I really think what we, so where I think we should go is we should embrace DMG page 4. And I'm starting to do this. I'm building this in my 1 hour Dungeons & Dragons, where every single creature you come across is, and the way I handle this in my 1 hour D&D, which I use Legos, and so I have this much different type of game. I've used the Dungeon Master Guide page 4 says specifically, it's in the lower left-hand column, and it says the rules aren't in charge, you are in charge, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm taking every non-player character and I'm taking every monster, and I'm saying, okay, when you and all the monsters, we track their hit points, we track their death journey with Legos, right? So if you strike the monster and you get a good hit on it, right? I put a 2/1 Lego brick onto the monster, like right next to the monster. If you have a very significant, like a critical, right? You do two of these Lego bricks, right? And then the next strike kills that monster, right? Now you're like, wait a second, what about like a dragon? I'm still working on this, and the way I handle this, so basically every single monster and every non-player character is 3 hits away from death, okay? Now, the way I handle this, what if we have a super high level, very extensively powerful non-player character or monster like a dragon or like an archmage, right? Well, they only take damage if you crit, right? And so what this does is it moves the game along massively faster, and it frees the players from this tyranny of hit points, right? Like this, hit the sack, lower the hit points, let's count down the hit points. And it's just, and I really feel this, hit the sack, lower the hit points on this thing, right, to 0. It discourages innovative play. And I really think, so this is my solution, right? I'm just converting everything to hit it, right? Did you hit it well? That's 1 hit, right? Did you hit it extremely well? That's 2 hits. Next person who hits it, drops it, right? And then for anything significantly power, they do not take any damage from any hit unless it's from a critical, right? And so, and that means that advantage really means a lot, right? Things like that. People who can crit on a 19, that means that, but this moves the game along at an actual cinematic pace, and it absolutely rewards innovative play. How are you handling this problem in your Dungeons and Dragons game? Or are you guys just sitting around, taking, and this is one of the things is like, I've moved to 1 hour Dungeons and Dragons, right? And I'm very proud of this because I actually I very often complete more in an hour than most dungeon masters are doing in 4 hours, right? And so I really think it's critical we embrace page 4 of the Dungeon Master Guide. The rules aren't in charge, you're in charge. And if we need this game to run, if we need Dungeons and Dragons to run faster, let's get it to run faster, right? Let's embrace page 4 of the Dungeon Master Guide and change the rules so that the cinematic play that new players very much expect, right, is delivered. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What I really want to know is, what are you doing about this? Are you sitting at your table for 4 hours and just hitting the sack, right? Because I really feel like if you're going to tell these super robust stories with a wide range of narrative momentum, this stuff has got to start running faster, right? And so I think we need to change this. Like this, hit the sack. It doesn't work anymore. That's my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.